beautiful day. I'm Reverend Tress, and I had the most exciting experience coming here. I saw a deer, and I saw her little one. And this was right in town here. That was so special. So I want to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living, Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. Today it's June the 19th, 2022. It's a delight to have everybody here for a whole new learning experience. Now, if you will repeat with me our opening affirmation, it's on your blue sheet. In this moment, I experience the highest and best within me, which is the very substance and spirit of God. Here is my peace, my power, my abundance, and my joy. Confidently, I take ownership of all that I am, and so experience all that life is, and so it is. And now we will have congregational songs.
The first song we're going to do is I Think You're Wonderful, and it's on page 119. It is in your book. And you can stand if you like and sing along with us, or you can stay seated, whichever you feel comfortable with.
I think I'll stay seated. I think you're wonderful when somebody says that to me. I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. If we practice this phrase in the most honest way and find something special in someone each day, we'll lift up the world one heart at a time. It all starts by saying this one simple line. I think you're wonderful when somebody says that to me. I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. When each one of us feels important inside, loving and giving and glad we're alive. Oh, what a difference we'll make in each day, and all because someone decided to say, I think you're wonderful when somebody says that to me. I feel wonderful, as wonderful can be. It makes me want to say the same thing to somebody new. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too. And by the way, I've been meaning to say, I think you're wonderful too.
And that was by Red Grammer. The next one we're going to do is God Fills All the Universe. And if you don't know this song, page 21? 21 maybe? 21. Oh yes, 21, sorry. You know probably Beethoven's Ode to Joy, so it's to that too. Okay.
God fills all the universe, its presence is in everything. Love from God surrounds my
Thank you. And now, our children, we have a word for the day. All righty. So the word for the day is purposefulness. So what is important to you? Your answer is your purpose. Now you are ready to act. And our affirmation is God in me does great stuff. So if you'll repeat with me, God in me does great stuff. And now I have an announcement. Reverend Judy, do you want to stand? Thank you. And you can sit now. Reverend Judy is having a summer mastermind clinic, and it's going to begin Wednesday, June the 22nd, 6:30 p.m., and will continue through July and August. And you can come to one session or to all of them. Just bring yourself a notepad and a pen. No charge, but donations are always welcome. And if you have any questions, you can speak with Reverend Judy after service. And now, I know that the person that I'm going to introduce is a great spiritual leader. And I know that he is a father, a grandfather, and I think a great-grandfather.
Don't take part of my talk.
Well, I'm trying to just. It is my honor to introduce Reverend Douglas Craig.
Thank you, Tress. Well, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing this fine day? Wonderful. That sounds good. That's a good way to be. So, today's an interesting day because what I'm going to really do is talk about three different things. There's Father's Day. There's the title of the talk, which fits into the theme for the month, sort of. And then there's the summer solstice, which we all are beckoning with right at this point in time. So that's where we're going to go with that today. And a very unusual title. It's called Honoring the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So we're going to see how that applies in everything. It's called the creative process in the individual. And by the way, to be more politically correct today, we could change that and use it interchangeable, the Father, the Daughter, and the Holy Ghost. The Father and the Holy Ghost don't change. And you're going to say, what about the Mother? Well, we're going to talk about that. Don't get excited. That's coming. In order to start, though, the theme, by the way, for this month is Living Everyday Wonder and Body. So when we're talking about the body today, we're talking about the body of the experience that we have. Okay, and it's the experience that we have out. It's anything in the physical. But we're going to talk about what happens before that and the creative process in the individual. So there's a few things to get clear about. But I'd like to begin this with an opening meditation treatment. So I invite you just to take a few moments and go within to that secret place of the Most High and know with me, as I know for myself, that there is only one eternal truth that's forever giving of itself, and that's God's truth, my truth, your truth, right here and right now. And this truth is consistent through all time, all ages, all individuals, all race, all creed, political beliefs, colors, everything. It's the one truth. And to know that, we must really know it only in one place, that's through ourself and by means of ourself. So I invite you to cast away what's coming later and what happened before and be here in the present moment, because the point of power is always in the present moment. And so in the calm the peace, the stillness, and the quiet. Know that all is God and all is good. And that each here is a unique, individualized expression of this one power and this one presence. That same thing that we all share is this one common life. However, we uniquely express it through us, by means of us, in our own special way. And no one else in the entire universe can do it exactly like we can. For we all share that one common bond, yet we're all separate. So I invite you to take a moment to reflect upon yourself and your journey without any judgment, without any angst, only with the infinite potential and possibility that you have. And just contemplate a couple of things that you can bring into experience that reflect the highest and best of who you and what you are. And we know together that ultimately we are gardeners in our own soil of our own minds. And whatever seeds of thought that we plant and nurture and nourish evolve into form in their own time, in their own space, in their own way, as we are ready to accept it. So I know for you, as I know for myself, that our soul knows where we need to go and what we need to do to experience peace, prosperity, fulfillment, and happiness. And we are open and receptive for that internal guidance on where to go and what to do and how to do that in our experience called life. And know that all goodness prevails. So with great anticipation, with great thanks, and with a knowing, we let it be so, and so it is. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is start out with a tribute to all fathers. And keep in mind, fathers don't necessarily mean just men. I know a lot of ladies that were single moms that were the father of their children also, because a lot of times the fathers weren't there. Happens on the other side of the coin too, by the way. But we need to stop and acknowledge that, and to be very important. And you know, for me, it's really different this year because I realized on reflection that I've had the blessing and the opportunity to have 6 generations in my span of life, including myself. I had my 2 grandfathers and my father, and of course myself and my children and my grandchildren, and now we got a lovely little great granddaughter. That's 7 generations, you know. And how it's not unusual or unique. Lots of people have that. However, what I'm so grateful for is this teaching and this philosophy that's given me the awareness to be able to reflect upon that and appreciate that, because not many people get that opportunity to be able to look at that and see the value and appreciate that opportunity. And you know, as I go along in life, I realize how much more value my father gave to me, and in particular my grandfathers. Because I realize now today I am so much like both of them in their own way, And a lot of the goodness that they gave me, I emulate because they taught me. And I am so grateful for it. I never really thought about it. But as you progress, one progresses in life, one begins to appreciate that a lot more. I went through really appreciating my father, and now I'm into my grandfathers. I didn't have a knowledge of my great-grandfather, but it is different to see how they are. And I come across a quote by Mark Twain that says it all. When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years. Yeah, and that's just the way it is. It just, because, I was really good when I knew everything, when I was that age. I knew it all. However, as time advances, one realizes all you ever do when you learn something is realize how much you don't know. And then you get to this stage, and it's hard remembering all that stuff. Anybody have a hard time? And you see, people say, oh, it's because you're getting old. No! It's because we know so much stuff that computer just has to take a little more time to access the memory. That's all. At least I try to tell myself that anyhow, and it works a little bit better. So yeah, we all have that image in our mind. And I remember when I was going through my real difficult time, nothing like getting arrested and charged with trafficking narcotics with your 3 little girls standing on the doorstep crying as you're taken away to jail. It gives a man a little bit of a wakening up. And I realized after that happened to me that I did not want to be the kind of father who told his children what to do and what not to do. Because I didn't like being told what to do and what not to do. I hated it, and I never listened. However, I wanted to be the kind of person that would demonstrate by the way they lived how to do it and what to do. And so I developed a philosophy around that with my children and grandchildren in being like that. I never hid my past. My grandchildren all know about it, but none of them ever got in any trouble. I got more trouble than all my children and grandchildren put together. Not that, you want to brag about that, but it was just the truth. And so we realize that you can't control anybody. If you don't get that, you better give yourself a little slap around. Because we even have a hard enough time controlling ourselves. Tried that lately. Holy, that's the biggest challenge I got. However, by example and by the way we do things, we can steer people. Okay? And I become a master at steering people. And I learned that because I had to steer myself from a totally different lifestyle into a totally new way of living. And by that I mean that totally new way of living, it still hasn't changed. Because there's always something new to learn. If you ever think you're going to get it all, forget it. That's the worst thing you can do, because you're never going to get it all. Because every time you get something, there's something else. And you say, well, what if I don't want to know that? But once you get something and you're happy and something else is there, you might not want to know it, but you just can't resist moving forward. You notice that? We got to move forward, folks. And so that's what the Father in us does. And so let's transfer that over into, I want to read what Scott Aubrey said. We have the opportunity to honor fathers this Sunday, recognizing that the masculine dimension within all of us is a presentation of spirit as the source of our material needs. Fatherhood is a symbol of goodness and integrity of life, and Father's Day is an opportunity to share these divine attributes with others, to consciously live with the sense of spirit at the very center of our being. So what's this idea about the Father? It'll lead into the next topic, which I call the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Anybody ever heard that in religious circles before? things like that. And I say the Father, the daughter, and the Holy Ghost. So be real clear, we can intertwine those two. But the Father and the Holy Ghost cannot be changed. Yeah, oh, I said, how come the men got that? No, it's not that. That's a masculine principle within every one of us. And it's a masculine principle that develops and creates the seed. It's a masculine principle that chooses what to think. It's the masculine principle that develops the ideal of what it is we desire to experience. The Holy Ghost, by the way, is another way for the feminine principle. It's the mother. The Holy Ghost is the womb of the universe, where you take the seed, and where do you put it? You put it in the soil. That's the feminine principle within each and every one of us. It's the feminine principle that actually creates what the masculine principle has come up with within us. It's the seed that's got the potential and the idea, but it's the soil that's required to bring it into the son or the daughter or the form. Okay? And so that's the threefold nature. I like what Ernest Holmes said about this. It's a little wordy, but it's kind of neat on page 88 of the Science of Mind textbook. He said there is one first cause. And he goes spirit, soul, body, cause, medium, effect, Father, Son, Daughter, Holy Ghost. Not three gods, but the triune nature of the one God, the one cause. We think of spirit as absolute, self-conscious, intelligent. That is the masculine principle, spirit. We think of soul as a receptive to intelligence, and the intelligence as always acting upon itself. That is the soil, that's the feminine principle, which receives the seed. The body of the universe is a result of the thought of spirit operating through the medium of the soul. The Father is absolute positive intelligence. The Son or daughter is the offspring of the Father. The Holy Ghost is the servant of the eternal Spirit throughout the ages, or the feminine principle, always giving of itself. Spirit is absolute intelligence operating through the soul of receptive intelligence, impregnating it with divine ideas. So, all very technical, very scientific, but to really get it simple, it's called seed, soil, and plant. And it works like that. One of the things that people always ask me or say to me, not always, a lot of them don't say it anymore, but I don't like what's happening to me in my life. I don't like what I'm getting. Anybody ever said that? You know where you start? I always say, well, if you don't like what you're getting, look at what you're giving. Well, I don't do that to anybody, but what do you think about? What do you believe? What's intention? It doesn't mean you just have to do it. It all starts there. And you know how agreeable the feminine nature is, the soil. Does the soil say, oh, you don't want cannabis, you want corn. I'm going to grow corn instead of putting the cannabis seeds that you grew. Oh, wouldn't that be exciting if every time you put seeds in, you didn't know what was going to come up because the soil decided. How many people would like that? Does that make sense? No, and it doesn't make sense in our lives that we could think one thing and expect to get something else. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. Okay? And we go, okay, so here's the three as it's talked about through the ages and through the different people that are approach it. Okay, so you got Father, Holy Ghost, and daughter or son. The masculine, the feminine, the offspring. You got the seed, the soil, and the plant. You got spirit, soul, body. Oh, let's go into psychology. Conscious, subconscious experience, objective, subjective result, cause, medium, effect. 1, 2, 3. If you don't like 3, check up on 1. You don't have to worry about 2 because it's going to do whatever you tell it. Oh, I think I'll go out there and grow weeds today. Well, there I get my weeds. Some thistles. How many plant that in their garden? Well, why not? Because we don't want them. If you don't want anything in your garden, don't plant the seed. It sounds really simple, doesn't it? And you know, the truth of the matter is, it really is. Well, I don't remember about planting this seed. You should see what's happening to me. Well, keep in mind, with us it's a little bit different. It isn't boom, boom, boom. It's the accumulation of all of this that we've dumped into that over the years that's manifesting in different ways out here. Good, bad, or indifferent. You know, one of the things I practice every day, which is one of the most powerful tools, and for me it's just automatic, is gratitude. Grateful, because all I got to do is, when I'm feeling things aren't going my way and really good, is sit back and think about my journey and about where I was headed. Well, I know a lot of people say, I had a rough time when I was young too. It was about 3 or 4 years of bad stuff. Well, okay, I did 19. Try on 19 years for size, and then try to recreate a person that can have a life. That has to do things different, by the way. It was really tough making the transition from being a head honcho in a motorcycle gang to being on the church board. It really was. And being a college professor in the classroom, because I couldn't handle same things the same way in the church board as I did in the gang business. Oh, they worked. But I had to hold myself back. Yes, it's hard making that when you know you can do this and it works, but it's not the right way to do it. I don't want that anymore. I want this. You have no idea, if you really make a commitment to doing it, that it does change, because I've created a ministry, 30 years as a college prof. I'm a professional Santa, and having a great experience with, as good as you can with kids and grandkids and that. I mean, sure, I got a dysfunctional family, but look who was running it. And I saw a picture of a conference that they were having of functional families in their great big arena, and there was one person in the audience. So don't think we all got that. Eh? We're all a little dysfunctional. But that's what makes us tick. So we want to understand that process. And the key today in honoring the fatherhood is father is the spirit, is the initial process. That's where we do the thinking. This is not gender specific. Forget that. It's a father principle in every one of us. We got to get clear on this stuff. This gender stuff is getting way out of whack. Way out of whack. We got to know that that's eternal within us, don't matter what you call it. That's the way it works. And that's what we're here to honor today, is that ability within us to declare what it is that we stand for and what we want, and to allow the creative medium to bring it into form, and us to be available to do what is necessary to do. Well, everybody says, well, how do I know what to do? I have never accomplished anything. All the great stuff I've done, I've never accomplished by knowing how to do it when I started. I didn't have a freaking clue. And, it's just like the soil. Do you know how the soil works? No, you don't. Do you go out and dig it up to see if the seed's growing? No, why not? Because you trust the soil works. That's the same thing we got to do with the creative aspect of our mind. We got to trust that it works. And we got to feed it what we want, not what we don't want. We got to feed it what we can do, not what we can't do. We got to feed it what we are, not what we aren't. Okay, very important. Okay, rebirth, renewal, and the summer solstice. Well, that's coming up. I read this. I thought this was kind of interesting. Tuesday is the summer solstice. I have a feeling it's going to be a long day. Okay. Emma Mumford, so I had to throw that one in. I liked it. Summer solstice has great spiritual significance. It's a potent time for birthing new energy, new beginnings, manifesting, and welcoming abundance. So I've been experimenting with this every year, growing stuff and things. I've had some success and not. So what I decided this year to do is I've become the lettuce master. So I got grow lights and I got lettuce in 5 or 6 different stages, including eating different kinds of lettuce. So I'm taking it from the kitchen table, which Hannah can't use anymore, out into the little garden and then harvest it. So I'm having a ball with that. And you know why I like this time of year? Because you see the results of your efforts if you're planting, or you see the rebirth and renewal. And that's the time to really take that inside ourselves and choose to do some of that in our own way. Because I got to tell you, we get a little rusty and dusty and dirty and dank inside over the winter because stuff builds up. Is it only me or is it everybody else? One in the front. Yeah. Okay. It builds up and it's time to move forward with that. Gary Zukav said at the summer solstice, all is green and growing, potential is coming into being, and the miracle of manifestation painted large on the canvas of awareness. It doesn't matter how bad you were. It doesn't matter how many terrible things that you've done. The Spirit is very forgiving when you step up to the plate with humility, dedication, and commitment to saying, that no longer serves me. And by the grace of the Spirit, it gives you life and renewal and an opportunity. How do I know that? Because I did a lot of really bad things over 19 years. Some that I'll never talk about. Okay? People said, don't you feel bad about it? Don't you feel guilty? I did what I needed to do to forgive myself and move forward, realizing that all of that isn't going to serve me going forward. I have to come to peace with it. Doesn't mean I like it. Doesn't mean anything like that. It just doesn't make any difference. I somewhere got to come to the point where I put that to bed and move forward. And I can't just talk about all this stuff. I've actually got to get doing it. Ernest Holmes said, and I'm going to close with this, our mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, from prayer to performance. This would be a well-balanced experience. The Spirit fires the soul with energy and understanding. The soul vitalizes the body and animates all that we do. So I know for you, as I know for myself today, that only good prevails in our life, and everything that we experience and how we experience is an outpicturing of our consciousness. And as Viktor Frankl said, at that very important moment of time before an event, and our response is where we have the choice to be empowered. And simply, we always have that choice. So I choose myself, as I choose for each one here to accept it, that God always provides the answer, the direction, and the way when we're an open and receptive vessel and when we're willing to step into the experience. Today, it's renewal, rebirth. It's time to step into the experience. And I know that we do so embracing all the good that's coming and dealing with that we label that's not. And the journey is full of joy, peace, love, fulfillment, prosperity, and happiness. And so it is. Whee!
Thank you, Reverend Doug. I always enjoy your speaking, and I always learn. So thank you so much. If you will repeat with me our prosperity affirmation, it is on our blue sheet. To me, all is given. Through me, it is used and generously shared. The open channel that I am admits no impediment. The flow is constant to, through, and from me. With a grateful heart, I rejoice, knowing that all is God and all is good, and so it is. And if you wish, you may give in our basket. You may give online, and just being here, you are giving by your presence. And now we do have some songs for the offertory.
Shine through me, shine through me. Use me in a way that brings healing to my world. Shine through me. There's a light divine that each heart is meant to shine. Shine through me. People everywhere need the light I have to share. Shine through me. Shine through me, shine through me. Use me in a way that brings healing to my world. Shine through me. Let my love so shine, it includes all humankind. Shine through me. When I learn to give, I help others learn to live. Shine through me. Shine through me, shine through me. Use me in a way that brings healing to my world. Shine through me, shine through me, shine through me. Use me in a way that brings healing to my world. Shine through me.
Thank you. And if you will repeat with me the closing affirmation. I go about my day from one precious moment to the next, making the conscious choice to fully experience each moment, moving with ease and grace through each experience. Spirit within me knows how, and I listen and respond, and as well. So it is. And now the musicians again, please.
Okay, we're doing I Love Myself, and it's on page 33. And you can all stand.
I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful.
And a word of closing treatment. I ask you simply to know with me the good of this day, to know that truly there is a power for good in the universe and that we can use it. It is ours to use through our thought, through our words, through our actions. And as we focus on the good and greater good, then that great good flows to us and through us and from us in never-ending flow. I give loving thanks knowing it is so, and so it is.
Okay, and we're going to do Yes, There is Peace on Earth, and that's on page 114 in your books.